Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Barb and today I will be doing all my favorite books of 2022 so far. These books are in no particular order, so just wanted to make that clear. With no further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the first book on this list is House of Orphan Blood by Sarah J. Maas. This book just completely caught me off guard. I'm not someone who likes first books in a series just because usually there's a lot of world building and you don't get to know the characters a lot more, but this book, listen, the world building was so easy to follow and I was in love with the characters from the very beginning. In this book we follow Bryce. She is half fae and half human. Her best friend Danica is killed by a demon, ? We don't know that yet, but a couple years later the murders start happening again and Bryce is paired with a fallen angel, Untitled, who they'll be working together to try to figure out who is doing these killings again. I think this book was just so beautiful written, especially when it came to grieving and how Bryce was dealing with losing her best friend and really her entire world, because that was her person, you know, and it just really got to me, all of that. And Hunt Atler, he was so easy to fall in love with, and the chemistry between him and Bryce was uncanny, and all the side characters were also amazing, especially Rune. Oh my god, I just love him so much. So please if you haven't picked up this book, which is very unlikely, give it a read. The second book on this list is My Body by Emily Raptajowski. I am pretty sure I messed up that name. Please let me know how to say it, or no, I don't know. So this book is a beautiful memoir about just the body in general and what it feels like to be a woman in today's age, how much worth is put into our body and the sexualization of it, especially by men. I think this book really took me on a wild self-discovery and made me rethink about myself and how I used to view my body and view my person, and how I used to value myself based on other people's opinions of me. I could really identify with the author, especially on seeking validation from just everyone around you. The third book on this list is Our Violent Ends by Chloe Young, and the love I have for this duology is completely insane. I don't know why I was expecting a different ending in the Romeo and Juliet retelling, but let me tell you, this book took me through all the highs and lows, and I was at the edge of my seat like, what's gonna happen? And on top of this, we have amazing side characters and I just love them. I love every single one of them and I want to protect them with all my heart. Miss Gong takes a classic and makes it 1,000 times better. And on top of that, she had queer characters, which is amazing, especially for a book being told in the 1920s. And Julia is just one of my favorite female leads of all time. She is such a badass. And when she said, I don't remember if it was the first book or the second book, but when she said, "Father, I crave violence," I was like, girl, you get it. Go. Do violent things, you know? Do violent things. Go just be that girl. Next up we have Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zonner. And Crying H Mart made me cry in my car because that's what I listen to in the audiobook. Anyways, give me a book about a problematic relationship with your mother and I will devour it, and I will probably cry a lot because that's how it be. My favorite quote from this book was, "There was no one in the world that was ever as critical or could make me feel as hideous as my mother, but there was no one, not even Peter, who made me feel as beautiful." And I think that just really describes the relationship that I have with my mother, and maybe the relationship that a lot of people have with their mothers. They're your worst critics from the very beginning, which sometimes makes you get very resentful of them. But I think this book just portrays all the highs and lows of a mother and daughter relationship, and their redeeming relationship as well, how they end up coming together in the end, and just and the author discovering more about her mother and discovering and realizing how much love her mother really did have for her and how she expressed that love. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful memoir, and I think everyone should read it. And definitely check for the content warnings on this one because there is just a lot of grief going on. Next up we have Sex Cult Nun by Faith Jones, and the only thing I'm going to say about this book is it's about cults, and if it's about cults, I'm reading it and I'm enjoying it, every second of it. And I would definitely recommend that you check the content warnings for this one because there is a lot of things that I didn't know they were going to get into, and it definitely did, and it's very graphic and it will probably get you very mad. Next on the list is Heartstopper by Alice Osman. I couldn't pick any one of the one books, so that's all four of them, and I love this series so much. And I can't wait to watch the series later today because today is Saturday, yes. And we're having a watch party with the Citadel from Mel's Patreon, and I couldn't be more excited because this book, it has my complete heart. Like this whole series, just everything about it, it's so beautiful. Okay, and if you need serotonin, read this series. And the graphics are just so cute. Like, can you see this? Like, don't you just love Nick and Charlie so much? Next up is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas, and that's the second installment for the Crescent Cities. And this might be an unpopular opinion, but I like the second book a lot better than the first one. I think we got to see a lot more into the characters, and I think a little bit of chemistry was lacking with Bryce and Hunt, and I really hope that doesn't go to play into Miss Maas trying to do a switch up and have a different mate for Bryce, because for me Hunt is just everything and they should definitely be together, but I just feel like there's something lacking in this book about them. Who stole the show for me was definitely Ron and his whole romance thing, because that just had me at the edge of my seat, and I was like, okay, this might be my new favorite character from the Crescent Cities, because I just love him so much. I just love how we got a deeper look into his character and what shapes him the way that he is, and I thought that was just amazing, and I can't wait to see what happens with him and his love interest in the next book. But the ending of this book, if you know, you know, because I need the third book right now. Because how is Miss Janet going to do this to me and write that kind of an ending and then be like, oh yeah, see you all in 2 years? Like, no. How about next month? Next up we have Middle Game by Shannon Mcguire, and look at this cover. Isn't this just the most beautiful thing that you've seen? But I was very intimidated by this book because I don't read sci-fi at all, and I didn't think this was going to be the book for me. But I am so glad that I picked up this book because I just love this so much. In Middle Game, we follow a set of twins that are separated at birth. Their names are Roger and Dodger. Yes. And one of them is a genius in math and the other one is a genius in language. They were created by a lunatic alchemist. And what happens when they're put together? I don't know. You're gonna have to read it, but it's definitely worth it. I feel like this book was really a wild ride because I had no idea what was going on a lot of the time, but at the same time I knew exactly what was going on. I know it doesn't make sense, but if you've read this book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is very confusing, but at some point just everything comes together for you. Okay, the next book on this list is Legendborn by Tracy Dion, and I did not expect to love this book because I don't know anything about King Arthur at all. This book follows Brie Matthews after her mother dies, and she goes into a residential program at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. And on her very first night, she stumbles onto something very weird, something that she shouldn't have seen. But she ends up getting intertwined with all that crazy shit that ends up happening. Next thing you know, she's in a world of magic, mages, and King Arthur. Need I say more? I love the representation in this book, and I would definitely recommend the audiobook because it has an amazing southern accent, and I just completely fell in love with it. The second book for this series is coming out later this year, and I cannot wait to read it because the way it ended, it just, you know, I thought that it was going in a certain direction and it just took a completely other turn that I was expecting, and I just completely loved it. Maybe everyone knew that this was going to happen, everyone saw it coming, but I definitely didn't, and I can't wait to read the next book. The last book on this list is The Diamond Eye by Quinn. If it is written by Quinn, I am reading. This book follows the true story of a female sniper in the Red Army who had over 300 confirmed kills in a little bit under a year. I will never stop obsessing over this writer's writing because you just learn so much from it, and you also get so connected and invested in the characters. I think women in the World War II were very overshadowed by the men, and we did have a lot of great women that fought in the war, especially in the Red Army. And I think it's beautiful and touching that Quinn has taken her time and so much research, all the research that she's put into these books, especially The Diamond Eye, and also The Huntress. That was also a beautiful, beautiful book by her. If you have taken anything from this video at all, it is read Quinn books, all of them. They are all amazing, and Her books really made me fall in love with historical fiction again. Alright everyone, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching it and hanging out with me. Please let me know what are your favorite books from this year down below in the comments. If you haven't done so, please subscribe and press the like button down below, and make sure to watch my first video that I uploaded last week. That was the booktube newbie tag, so you can get to know me a little bit more. Have a great week. I'll see you guys next time.